Welcome back out to Domesticated Savages and our podcast here. Today, in this episode number 2, we're going to be talking about, since it's Christmas, we're going to be talking about Christmas stories. The theme of today is Christmas. So, once again, I am one of your hosts. My name is Jake. Today, I have with me the same as usual. I've got Jeremy. What's up, Jeremy?
What's going down?
And I've got Fitz. What's up, bro?
Hey.
Cool. So today, like I said, we're going to talk about Christmas. Get into the yuletide spirit, baby. So I wanted to start off with a story. Last week, we got really good feedback from our episode that we dropped. People are loving the cop stories, so we're obviously going to keep on that theme. That's what we're going to be rolling with here on our podcast. So today, I'm going to talk about one of my stories. And it's funny because last week we had a Nakey story. One of our boys had that episode. We had the Nakey episode. Well, today I'm going to start off with another story of a naked person. So it was Christmas time, right before Christmas. And in our city, downtown, there's a lot of bars. Pretty typical for any major metropolitan city. And the bars get out around 1 or 2, and we're patrolling, and next thing you know, we get this call up to this guy's house. Lives in a pretty decent, nice part of the area. He calls up, says he needs police because he's got somebody who won't leave his home. So me and another officer roll up there. We roll up there, and we come to the door and knock on the door, announce ourselves as police. The dude who called us in, he answers the door, and he's like, "Hey, officers, I really need your help. I got this girl, met her at the bar, and we were hanging out, really hit it off, and we got done at the bar, and she came home with me, and we've been here for a couple hours now, and yeah, man, things got weird, and she won't leave now." And I was like, "Okay, bro, you can't get this girl to leave your house?" He's like, "No, man, I tried everything I could, and I can't get her to leave." So I was like, "All right, bro." So we come inside the house. I'm like, "Where is she?" He's like, "She's in the back room." Okay. So we freaking walk into the back and open the door to the bedroom. And laying on the bed is this chick. And she's butt naked. Doesn't have a stitch of clothing on her.
Hell
and
yeah.
She will not she's acting like she's just dead. At first I thought she was dead. And I go up to him is this guy calling in a murder? He murdered this chick and he wants us to see the freaking ramifications of what he's done. And I kind of look at this dude. I'm like, holy shit. He's like, "Is she okay?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, she's just playing possum." I'm like, okay. I walk up to her. I'm like, hey, you need to wake up. You need to get out of here. I kind of start grabbing her arm and I start trying to pull her up. She's dead fishing it. She will not get up. She will not move. I'm like, "Get up right now. You need to stand up. You need to get out of here." And she's got her clothes, which are on the ground, but it's a super complicated flipping wardrobe, dude. I can't just put these clothes on her. It's not like a t-shirt and freaking pants.
It's the clothes that have all this little straps
and buttons,
everything's
and all this
cut
crap.
up.
I'm like, this thing is not gonna. I mean, it's like a dress. I'm like, I'm not gonna get this thing on her. Plus, she's in cuffs. When I stood her up and turned her over, I put her in cuffs. So I'm like, okay, she's never gonna get in this freaking thing. So the guy is like, "Okay, guys, can you just get her out of here, please? Can you just get out of here?" I'm like, "Dude, keep your pants on because she doesn't have any. We're going to get her out of here." And he's like, "Okay." I'm like, "Just step out of the room." So he steps out of the room, and once again, she hasn't said a word to me. She won't say anything to me. And she's just dead fishing it, not moving, limp. And finally, I tell the other officer who's with me, I said, "Hey, let's just grab her under the arms and pick her up." And the other officer's like, "Dude, are we going to take her to jail naked?" And I'm like, "Dude, what are we going to do? I don't have any spare clothes. Do you?" And the officer's like, "Well, why don't we ask homeboy if he'll spare some clothes?" And so we look at the dude, "Hey, get us some clothes." He's like, What do you mean?" It's like, "Dude, we're getting you out of this fix. We're getting this girl out of your house. She needs some clothes. Grab her a shirt, grab her some pants." He's like, "Okay." So he grabbed this shirt. It was a freaking Santa Claus shirt that said "ho, ho, ho" on it. And it's the basketball shorts. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I just tossed the shirt on her and tossed the basketball shorts on her. And we had to flip a manhandle her, fireman carrier out to the freaking car, put her in the car. She didn't say, she laid down on the seat, didn't move. I was like, maybe we should just call medical. I'm like, maybe this is like a medical issue. Medical shows up and they look at her and like, no, she's just faking it. It's like, holy crap. Finally, we drive her to jail. And I'm like, yeah, one prisoner, we need help. So, drive up to the Sally Port door. The guys from the jail come out. And as soon as the guys from the jail come out, she sits up. She's like, holy shit. Were you really just going to take me to jail and never say a word to me? I'm like, bitch, I was saying a word to you the whole freaking time. What are you talking about? I'm not going to say a word. You didn't say a word to me. She's like, okay, I guess I'll just go to jail then. So I guess you will. Then she became extremely talkative. I was like, why were you acting like that? She's like, I don't know. I just felt really embarrassed. I'm like, yes, you should have been. Why did you freaking talk to us? We could have freaking avoided this mess. I would have taken her to jail. She was, gotten up and walked out of the flipping apartment the guy lived in. But she wanted to play stupid games, so we had to take her to jail. Public intox. She's intoxicated, so she went to jail for that.
That's impressive that his attire was able to fit her. I don't think any of my clothes would fit anybody.
Well, I mean, her arms didn't come out of the freaking armholes. She was small, so the shirt looked like a dress on her.
Was she cute at least? Like a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, she was cute.
That's rare because in police work, you quickly find that naked is 99% of the time it's bad naked.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a fun naked.
It's not a fun naked, which...
It's not a Pornhub scenario naked.
It's not.
It's not one of those situational type of Pornhub videos. It's one that nobody wants to see.
In my 13 plus years, I think there's been about 3 good nakeds where I was like, that's not terrible. But most of it's always been, which going off your story, I responded to a domestic. And again, I was a newer guy, but it was Christmas time and, there's snow everywhere. And I was with a more experienced officer. And you quickly learn that you can find humor in your job with just, you're still professional, but you've got to find the humor where you can find it. So we go to this DV at this apartment, this domestic violence call. And we make contact with the male half, and he's explaining like, oh, she's crazy. She's in the back room. They live together, they're boyfriend, girlfriend. And, we get his side of the story. And then we go back to the room. And as we go back to her knock, she's like, yeah, come in. And as we go in, she's just putting on a shirt over. And so we get a glimpse of the front half. And she's putting on his shirt, so it's one of those suns out, guns out where they cut the sleeves off. Yeah. But she's a very top-heavy gal, very good-looking, very trim and fit, but very top-heavy. And so for the first 5 minutes, she's playing.
When you say top-heavy, what do you mean?
Oh, my gosh. You don't have to explain. I think we all know. Try to keep it PG-13, bro.
How is that not PG-13?
I'm saying she was well endowed up top.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
Very well endowed.
If she had a big head or something.
No. For the first 3 to 5 minutes, she's talking and she's playing peekaboo. She moves her hand to the left and it would move the shirt enough. And it's hard to concentrate. As a new cop, you're trying to be professional, but you're just camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. And then she raises her arms up, and as she put the shirt down, you could see she had a leopard print thong. And it was like the 90s style, leopard print kind of bikini thong. And this officer, she kind of went on a rant for about the first 5 minutes. And I'm trying to keep it professional. And obviously he's more experienced. He's dealt with stuff like this before. And I'm trying to take notes, and he decides to go Super Troopers on me, and he's like, okay, Meow.
Oh, my God.
Meow, tell me again.
Not.
Yes, he did.
He did?
Yeah. And so he's sitting there, and he's like, okay, Meow. Now, Meow, tell me what, and I lost it, and I can't keep notes anymore, and she's looking at me like because they're both intoxicated, right? And so what's normally would be very obvious to them is not. And like I said, he was, getting her story, but he just... And tell me again, Meow, what happened? And I couldn't keep it.
Count how many times he said meow? Did he get 10?
Oh, it was probably more than 10. We had to talk to her because she just kept going on rants and different tangents. And So it was Christmas time, and they had the tree got demolished in their kerfuffle.
Yeah.
But it was, again, you got to find the humor where you can find it as you're working.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I said, that was probably out of the 6,000 times I've seen naked, that was probably like one of three that was like not terrible, not burning my eyeballs.
Let me jump in here. So, also, the funny thing is you're saying you got to find humor where you can find it. We, the cops, man, we have kind of a sick, demented humor because we deal with a lot of like crazy, terrible calls. And a lot of times the only thing that helps you so you don't get that, crazy PTSD is so you can, if you can laugh at it a little bit, look at the darker side of the humor with some of the stuff. And I think that some people that don't deal with that might think that we're calloused or we're mean.
Or,
we're dicks, So, it is what it is. I know that my wife, for example, I used to tell her stories and laugh, and she'd kind of look at me like, man, you're a real callous bastard. You got a black heart, don't you?
You're a cold-hearted son of a bitch, but I love you.
So, yeah, it's kind of funny that you say that because I think that's very true that we definitely have a weird sense, a darker sense of humor per se.
All right, Fitz.
You got a story, bro?
Lay it on me.
I don't have any good naked people stories. I definitely don't have any naked people stories on Christmas. But I have a little bit more of a more serious one.
Yeah, you don't have to go with naked story. It's just funny that both of ours were naked.
Yeah. 'Tis the season.
Well, now I feel left out. Like, I feel like
okay.
I should make up a naked
No,
people story.
well, you could make one up, but that's not what we're about, bro. We're about telling them real stories.
So, one of my first and definitely one of my most memorable Christmas stories is with my partner and life partner,
Your work wife?
my work wife. And
What's a work wife? I mean, I imagine other professions have work wives too.
Yeah.
But we, the police department, have quite a few.
Yeah.
I mean, not quite a few, but we have work wives because you go on calls with a buddy.
Right.
Typically, if you work with that person, you're going call to call with that guy.
Right.
And so they become kind of like your work wife. They call it that, like you guys are like inseparable.
Well, so
you
I
spend a lot
think-
of time together.
I think for our department, it's a little bit different because we don't necessarily have beat partners, right? So you don't have like a partner when you're out on patrol. But I think for us, like a work wife would be somebody that you kind of follow around both while we're bidding shifts and on calls. So for
Yeah.
example, like,
So we bid shifts multiple times a year.
yeah,
And then you end up working the same days with that person in
Right.
the general same area.
yeah. So me and the work wife, we get called out. So we worked the downtown area for about 6 years.
Jeremy and I both know who his work wife is too.
So we worked the downtown area for about 6 years. Bars, clubs, hotels, all that kind of nonsense that surrounds that area. And we worked
The shelter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the shelter.
Can't forget the shelter, bro.
There's a couple malls down there. All at least in our area, the big high-rise buildings. But we work graveyard weekends, so we got all the Friday, Saturday, Sunday business, all that good stuff. So one of our usually quieter bars, we get a call that there's a guy, and I want to say I think it was the weekend of Christmas. It was like 1 or 2 days out from Christmas. Dude's at the bar, super drunk, and kind of super weird. He's kind of dressed up. He had camouflage pants on, a Santa Claus jacket, and a Santa hat. And he was starting to threaten everybody at the bar, starting to threaten patrons, the employees and stuff that were there. Kept saying he was going to come back and shoot the place up and everything. So as per usual, the bartender has security remove him, so he gets kicked out. The bartender calls the police, and my partner and I happen to be close in the area, so we show up and we very quickly find the tactical Santa Claus out front of the bar arguing with the security guy.
Does he have a beard?
He had like a little scruffy beard. It
Nothing
wasn't
good though.
Yeah, it wasn't
No
like a Santa Claus beard. No, it was.
Dude, you can't wear Santa Claus outfit with no
know.
Santa beard.
That's
What
I
a bitch.
agree. Like at least wear a fake beard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So anyway, so we show up and we contact the security dudes outside, and so my partner goes and talks to the security dudes, and I talk to Santa Claus who's out there, very clearly intoxicated, super drunk, and so my partner comes back over and tells me everything that's going on. So we start talking to the guy, and I can't remember specifically the reason that he decided to hook him, but we end up putting handcuffs on him. And so when we arrest somebody and we're going to take them to jail, we do, usually we'll do a quick frisk, make sure there's no weapons, and then we'll take them back to our cars and we'll do a more in-depth search of everything to make sure that there's no contraband or anything that's going to go into the jail, or if there's any other evidence on his person that we can book into evidence. So while we're doing this Terry frisk, we're kind of lightly joking about Santa, the tactical Santa Claus having a gun. And lo and behold, the guy actually had a Springfield Armory XD9 holstered on his right hip. And so as I'm going around, I feel it. And I kind of look at my partner. I'm like, hey, I think he's actually got something. So we look at each other and I lift up the Santa jacket and lo and behold, there's the gun. And I'm like, holy shit, he really does have a gun. Yeah. So take the gun, throw it in the pocket. We do the rest of the search. We put the guy in the back seat. And
so now he's going to jail for restricted person.
Oh, yeah.
That's a felony right there.
Absolutely. And so, dude, it was locked and loaded, full mag with one in the chamber. It was standard XD9, but yeah, that was fun.
He had his naughty list ready to go.
I showed up on that call. I showed up on that call.
Oh, yeah, you came out for the arrest check.
Yeah, I did the arrest check on that one.
I, not cop related, which is fine. But this
Tell
story
us about your life.
This story hails from my youth. And it does tie in a little bit to police work later on. I was probably 7 or 8, and I grew up in the Southwest. And we were traveling to go visit some family I had up here for Christmas. And we were going to spend Christmas with my other family. Well, traveling, and this is back, mind you, in the early 90s, right? And so there was a rest stop that, to use the bathroom, like off the freeway, off the highway, a rest stop, but their bathrooms, for whatever reason, it was just porta potties, but they were inside like these teepees. I didn't design it.
What is this, the res, bro?
I did not design it, but we'd always say, hey, we're going to stop at the teepees to go to the bathroom, let the kids out.
Okay, fair enough.
But there was just porta potties inside. And so like it had an opening, like a door, no cloth or anything. It was just an opening, and you'd walk inside and then go in the door of the shit house.
So in each teepee, how many porta potties were there?
Just one.
That sounds like a lot of work just for a porta
potty. It was. I mean, it was decorative, and as a kid, it made it fun. Like, we're stopping at the teepees. But so as most, if you've never been into a honey bucket, as it were, you find out that there's 2 mediums by which you can go to the bathroom. There's a normal toilet seat, you sit down, and it's just like an empty, shit falls right into the bottom, piss and shit it. And then there's a little pisser, so you don't have to sit down if you don't need to sit down, right? So I just, being a young kid on a road trip, drank copious amounts of whatever, Gatorade, soda, and so I had to take a piss. So I go and handle my business, and then I go to leave, the door stuck. And I'm starting to like freak out. I'm like, okay, well, now this is where I live. I now live in this teepee shit house, and just, teepee number 3, write me a letter every once in a while, I'll be okay. As I'm really pushing on the door, and I was always like a bigger kid. Yeah. So a 7, 8-year-old in the body of maybe a 12-year-old. Yeah. And I look up and I can see that the door's getting stuck at the top. But, even though I was a bigger kid, I still couldn't reach up enough to really put pressure on that point up top. So I have the bright idea. I'm going to stand up on the seat itself to get that leverage, right? I'm thinking scientifically. I'm doing calculations, mathematics, foot-pounds, torque. I'm getting it, right? So I start to really push on it. Well, I guess my footing wasn't as secure as I thought it had been. And like a bad turd, I fall right in. Bloop.
Yes.
Into the porta potty.
Oh, gosh.
And so now I'm like, I could have lived outside of the shit container, but now I'm inside. So this is where I live now.
How far did you fall in?
All the way.
What do you mean? Like to your freaking head?
To about my belly.
Your belly?
I mean, if you open the door, you could see like my head sticking out. Like, that's not where somebody's
How
supposed
big is
to
this
be.
hole, dude?
It felt like a mile. I
I
mean,
mean, how wide was this thing? You're able to fall right in. Is there like no seat?
I was taller, but I was a skinny lad.
There's no seat.
There was.
How
But
do people sit down without falling in?
I was a skinny guy.
Wow.
So you
hard to
fell,
believe.
you fell into the gap
Directly
in between the toilet seat with it closed, like with the lid down,
Yeah.
the
the
part
seat
that you
lid.
sit on.
Yeah.
You fell in that.
Yes.
I have a
What
hard time.
were you like a freaking?
I was a beanpole.
Wow.
I
I
didn't.
just can't
didn't
see
get,
that right now.
I didn't get this figured till much later on in life. Okay.
All right. All right.
Anyways, can I tell my story?
Yes.
Back to my story. So I fall in, and luckily I suspect my brother was holding the door, but didn't want to fess up to it later.
Your
because-
younger brother?
my older brother.
Your older brother.
And so he opens the door and he's like, "Wow, you're in a pickle, bud." And so my family pulls me out, and we had this awesome Chevy van where the back seat folded down. I mean, this thing was ghetto fabulous. And so I'm in the back, and my mom's like helping me
Would
strip
you
down.
say it was a hood rat? A hood rat van?
Oh no, this thing
It
was
was dope.
dope. Like it had the
I
two.
mean, you made a reference to the
Ghetto
hood
van
rat van last week. so
Oh
I
no,
always
this
say that.
this is it was like a 1980s one of those Chevy custom vans that had the driver and the passenger, and then the back had captain seats that swiveled,
Yeah.
and then there was a spot for like a table in the middle, and then the back seat that was a bench seat, but it folded down into a bed.
Right.
So I mean,
What?
I wish I had that van in
Chevy
high
made
school
that?
because that van would have been rocking.
Shut up.
No, it wouldn't have. But so, anyways, I'm in the back and I'm just, I'm crying. I get this shit on me, and
Did you take your pants off?
oh,
or
I had to
what?
strip completely down.
Oh my god.
And we had some bottle, and so my mom's there, like dumping bottles of water. I mean, clothes are gone now. Like you're not gonna. We still had like 5 or 6 hours of the drive. You're not gonna hold on to those bad boys.
Oh my no.
So they get tossed, and I mean we're going.
There
to
wasn't like a sink or a shower or anything at this rest
There's
stop?
teepees, bro.
Bro, they're teepees.
What teepees have sinks?
No, I mean like anywhere, like most rest stops you
No,
go
it
to
wasn't.
have like
So it wasn't like the rest stop that had like the big bathrooms. Where
Yeah.
you go. No, this was just teepees.
that's it.
People could pull in and rest,
Interesting.
or go to the teepees. No vending machines.
This is before coronavirus, so you didn't have to wash your hands back then.
There was no diseases.
Fair enough.
So I'm back there and I'm crying because I'm obviously covered in the shit. And my mom, like, everyone's laughing at me, and my mom, except my mom, sweet lady, she was, dumping bottles of water on me. So the rest of the drive, I'm just in my little skivvies.
Little do you know, she was actually trying to waterboard you.
She probably was. She's probably thinking I should have aborted this piece of shit. Should have
My
swallowed.
stupid kid fell
Shoulda-
in a damn
shoulda
porta
swallowed.
potty. Holy shit! Oh my god!
I'm sure, and I guarantee that's probably not the first time she's had that thought. Like I should have. This guy. Anyway, so the rest of the trip, I'm just in my tidy whities in the back of the van, like feeling sorry for myself, right? So, cut to my police academy graduation. They invite family in, and in my academy class, I was the youngest, and at the time, I was the youngest officer in the department. So they bring everyone in, at our precinct, the building. They had all the rooms opened up, and so there was 23 of us, and so you've got family. And at the time, that was kind of there was a couple agencies that put their officers through our academy. So there's 23 of us, 20 are going to work for our agency, 3 are going to another. So not only do we have our admin at this graduation ceremony, but the admin of the other agency was there. And so at the time, there was a lieutenant in charge of training who, when I went through the academy, he was the lieutenant. And they call on some family members to tell like a nice little story about your new officer graduating. Tell
Like
just
your
a
baby boy.
a baby boy or girl, no discriminations.
Your baby it.
Your baby child. Tell a good, warm-hearted, lovely story. And they're not calling on everybody. They pick like 4 people. And the last person they choose to tell a story is my mother. And up until I was 21 years old, she had 21 years of stories that she could have elected to be like, I'm going to tell this story. Not about like some sports, he hit 4 home runs in this game, or, he did charity. No, she decides to tell
Yes.
the shitty TP story to everybody.
Yeah.
She stands up in all her glory and lays into it. And then, so everyone's laughing at my expense, and I'm like, this is awesome. At that point, I was like, maybe I should have been aborted. Mom, you should have just ended it.
You wish she had.
I was like, come on. So she tells the story. Then afterwards, the chief comes up and he, congratulates you. And then the whatever family member or your loved one choose to put the badge on you, and then you put your badge. And then you walked around the room shaking the hands of all the admin.
Wait. So after that story, who did you choose to pin your badge on you?
Take a guess.
Your mom.
Absolutely. I was hoping she would feel some remorse, but she didn't. Maybe it was payback for how shitty it was as a child, right?
Maybe.
Anyway, so they pin it on, and then after it's done, you go around shaking the hand of all the admin that were present at the ceremony. Well, I get to the lieutenant that was overtraining, and he looks at me and he goes, "Good job, shit boy." Thanks, buddy. To tell you the truth, that is not the first time my brother has had to pull me out of an enclosed space that I probably shouldn't have been in. Yeah. So she had a multitude of stories. I played sports, and I did a lot of, I blew up a couple cars growing up. Like there was some stories she could have, decided to share that day, but no, she chose. And so it was just kind of a real good, heartwarming to go to the lieutenant, and you have some respect for the guy. Obviously, good job, shit boy. Thank you.
That's amazing. That's fantastic.
Was that a Christmas story?
And yeah, so we were going up to visit my family for Christmas, and so this was like December 22nd, 23rd.
So did everyone just make fun of you the whole time you were up there? Or?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
You didn't have any spare clothes though?
No, I did. I told you. So we were going on the trip, and why waste a clean pair of clothes just for a 5-hour drive? That's not practical. Why am I? And I mean, she dumped water on me, but I wasn't obviously clean. So whatever clothes I had put on my body would still have to be washed.
Yeah. All right.
When the back, that bench sheet, when it was folded up, there was maybe like a 3-foot space where you could put luggage.
Yeah.
And that's where I rode the rest of the trip. And not by choice.
I would have stuck you back there too.
Yeah, not by choice.
I would have stuck you back there too.
Old Pops was like, get in the very back.
I would have done the same thing.
And they rolled up, the windows, and obviously going is cold. And
that's what it goes.
When you fall in shit, you get a ride in the back.
All right. So I've got another story. Did you guys ever hear about the time when one of the officers, it was on Christmas Eve, and he went on a call. It was like a burglary. And he got done with the burglary, went back to his car, wrote his report, and submitted his report. And his report read like it was the night before Christmas.
I've heard of said stories, yes.
Yes, he wrote this. He wrote his report out. It was like, it was the night before Christmas, and all through the house, nothing was stirring, not even a mouse. He wrote his freaking report just like that.
That's
the entirety
beautiful.
of it. And just added like the details he needed to for his burglary. And guess what? They freaking submitted it. They let it go through. Yes. His report
sergeant?
read like that. Dude, this is forever ago. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember who it was.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
It's better than Braveheart report.
No, it's true.
The Braveheart report?
It was like a scene out of Braveheart.
So there was a fight, and the guy's like, it was
right
like
or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Being dramatic.
All right, Jake,
It was like a scene out of Braveheart.
you got a story?
Yeah, I got a couple. So, this one's more kind of like scary. Weird, but it still has to do with Christmas, so maybe it's like a nightmare before Christmas. But so we're on the west side, out in the northwest side area, and we had a dude who was like a peeping Tom call. They had like probably 2 or 3 people called it in. So when you get multiple calls on something like that, it's probably legitimate. Sometimes you'll get a single call and you're like, it sounds like it's a wacky, maybe a crazy person. You still got to treat it like it's real, but this one was 2 or 3 different people who called this in. So of this peeping Tom. So we get out there. They had a decent description. We show up on scene, and we're kind of driving around our cars. It's Christmas time. I can't remember if it was Christmas Eve or Christmas or the day after. It was like right in that weekend though of Christmas, whatever it was. And we get out there, and we're driving around, and we see somebody who matches the description. So we get out of our cars. And I start shouting at the guy. I said, "Hey, get over here! Come over to me! Please stop!" And the dude looks at me and starts running. And it's snowing like crazy that night. There's probably, 6 to 8 inches of snow on the ground. So it's like fresh snow. And the dude starts running for me, cuts through these yards, and I'm running after him. We're jumping over fences. I keep running after him, and I can see him jump over another fence. And then we get out, jump a fence into a schoolyard. Big open schoolyard, and there's a bunch of trees that line the fence area. And I see him go over the fence, and I see him run through the trees, and I jump over the fence, and I get through the trees, and I see his footsteps. I'm like following his footsteps now because I've seen where his footsteps are. There's no other footsteps in the area. We follow through the trees. I get over that fence. I follow him through the trees and follow the footsteps, and I get out to this field, and I'm looking, and I can't see him, and I follow the footsteps. I should keep running with the footsteps, I'm like, where the hell is this guy? I got to be able to see him by now. And I look, and the footsteps stop, and there's nobody in the area. Nobody in the freaking area, and the footsteps just stop in the middle of this field.
Did he get abducted by aliens?
Dude, I don't know what it was.
He just like straight up disapparated out of the area?
Yeah, I was like, I stop, and I looked around. There's no way he could have double backed. There's no way, because I was hot on his heels. And I stop, and I thought to myself, I'm like, this is freaking scary, dude. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like an alien abduction. Well, honestly, you know what I thought of? This sounds stupid, but I thought of, what are those people down on the res called that can freaking shapeshift?
Skinwalkers.
Yes.
Well, what did he skinwalk into? Air?
In a bird.
You think with that? You think with
Why didn't he do that earlier?
That level of magic, he'd be better
Maybe he had to
at
get out of my sight.
peeping tomming.
Yeah.
You think if he had some magic, he would be a better peeper?
Maybe he gets more rocks off when he's a human persona when he does it.
Well, then you should use an invisibility cloak like Harry Potter.
Boom.
Just saying. I don't know what it was, but the fact is there was no way he could have gone anywhere else, and then his freaking steps stopped in the middle.
So what did you end up
Tell
doing?
me how it happens.
Well, I just told you he disapparated. Straight up wizarding world of
I don't know what
Harry Potter.
disapparated is.
It's a Harry Potter reference, Jake.
I don't know what that is.
Culture yourself. Holy shit.
So I don't know.
Disapparating is a spell that they use to disappear.
Okay.
Like from one place to another.
Like evaporate, disappear, mixture.
Disappear, disapparate. Get it?
Disappear.
Yeah, why did you say disappear?
I just
Because
if
that's
you have that
boring.
level of magic, you got to up your peeping tom game.
I agree. He did a really terrible job. I mean, if you can, transform into a cat and walk on the windowsill and peep it, why don't you do that?
Or little mice.
But I say, what if he gets more rocks off as a human? Maybe. I don't know.
So
That
what
was weird.
did you end up doing?
Freaking
Just no casing?
went back to my car and I wrote up a report like, yeah, this guy fled the area and I couldn't find him. I was like, and he disappeared in the middle of the field. I said, I didn't do that.
You should have.
No, I didn't.
You didn't
say
document
that.
starting
the
to think,
footprints?
They would have sent the freaking quacky docs at me and be like, Jake, are you having an episode? Like, no, dude. I got another story. It's a naked lady story.
Most of my stories are just like big bar fights.
Christmas shit.
Yeah, but
There you
it
go.
has nothing to do with like Christmas.
It's on Christmas though.
So we had a big brawl down. No big surprise there. But there was.
Most years, there's a hot toy, a must-have toy for kids. And my boy at the time wanted
Furby.
the one I thought was back in the day. It was the big one. It was like the Tickle Me Elmo.
Your favorite was Tickle Me Elmo.
Tickle
I can
Me.
do an Elmo impersonation, bro. Sounds just like Elmo. No shit.
Lay it on me. Go ahead. Yeah. Anyways, so there's the hot toy, and obviously my boy knew what he wanted. He tells, hey, I really want this, and it was based on like there's a TV show and there's like a whole bunch of different characters. I mean, it was a whole thing, and like most good dads, I procrastinated, right?
Yes.
And so it's like December 23rd.
Procrastination is one of your major flaws, bro.
December 23rd, and so then I kind of like, he told me about it like a month before, and it was like, hey, we're gonna get it, yep, and I forgot. And then as it gets close, I get reminded December 23rd, I'm like, oh shit, I thought I got this wrapped up and I haven't. So I get out the house, I'm like, I gotta go hunt this thing down. So I'm out there and I'm hitting stores up, and it's just like, no. And then I'm starting to like, oh, this is not looking good. Because, it's like the one thing your kid wants. You don't want to be the dad on Christmas morning. Your kid's looking for the one gift, and it's like, yeah, sorry, Junior. You ain't getting it. so I'm hitting up all these stores, and I run into a guy I'd seen at a couple other stores, and I strike up a quick conversation. And he's in the same boat I am. We're trying to locate this toy for the kids, and finally word comes out that there's a store that had just got restocked, and they're going to have them. So get there, and there's a ton of people waiting. And so they are going to do the lottery system. So I'm at the store, and they have decided they are going to do a lottery system, and they're going to give out like these little lottery balls, and if they call your number, you get one, right? So we're all kind of clamoring, waiting for them to start handing out balls. Well, a riot ensues, and the balls go flying everywhere. And so I'm running down the aisles trying to chase some of these balls down because I'm fighting for my boy to get this toy. Well,
hold on. Didn't you steal this from Jingle All the Way? You straight stole this story from Jingle All the Way.
This is my life.
Oh, bullshit. You stole this story from Jingle All the Way.
I had to jump on a piano.
Who was the other guy? Was it Arnold Schwarzenegger?
It was Sinbad.
Oh, so you're Arnold. You're Arnold in this story.
Anyways, I call into a radio station, and I won the contest. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Donner, Comet, Cupid, Blitz. I said all the names. And I won, but the gift certificate, they didn't have a toy there. It was for like one later on. That doesn't work for me. Anyways, the town was having a Christmas parade, and they were featuring these toys. I bamboozle my way backstage. I wear the suit, and I'm going to give out a toy to one of the kids. And lo and behold, I end up saving the day, and my son realizes that the real prize for this Christmas is not this toy, but his father. And I can't believe you would besmirch my story. Right now I'm in legal workings. That's the Arnold stole it from me.
Did I ever tell you guys about that time that I saved Nakatomi Plaza on Christmas Eve?
That didn't happen to you. That's me.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed our episode here today, this Christmas episode. Special holiday cheer. The Christmas season is the best season. Hope you guys enjoyed those stories that we had. Once again, here at Domesticated Savages, you can find us, domesticatedsavages.com. We are now up on Spotify. We're up on Anchor. We're up on, Buzzsprout. We're up on pretty much all major platforms. We're on Amazon Music. We're on Google Podcasts. I'm trying to get up on Apple Podcasts. So pretty much anywhere you can find it. iHeartRadio. You can follow us at Instagram at Domesticated Savages. You can follow us on Facebook at Triple Cops. Going to get that switched over to Domesticated Savages. And you can follow us on Twitter at Cop Savages. So once again, thanks so much for listening. Appreciate you guys listening. Thanks for being part of the Savage Squad. Stay savage.